Hi everybody, it's Kelly. Well, I know I haven't done a video in probably a month or so. We've kind of had, it seems like every year around October and November we have struggles in our lives as a family. 2 years ago in October, I lost my lab and my dog, and she was 15 years old, and she passed away from awful seizures. There was something going on with her. We couldn't figure out what was wrong, and on October 30th, she was having just uncontrolled seizures, and we ran her to emergency, and it was just, the prognosis was not good, plus, her age, she was so old. So that happened 2 years ago, and then last year, we lost two of our cats, one in September and one in October, and one of our cats was 22 years old. My daughter Caitlin grew up with him, and it was really hard for her. My little Persian cat named Snickle Fritz, we called him Fifi, he died a month before Duke, and it was weird because they both died of like cancer, tumors growing in their nasal passage. Well, that's not true. Duke died of nasal passage. They could not get to the tumor that was growing, and Fifi died of a tumor growing in his throat. And it was like a month from each other. It was so weird. And Fifi was also an old guy he was close to 14 for a Persian. And it tore us up then. And then this year, it happened a little later in November. Many of you know my daughter Haley. Let me see if I can zoom this a little bit better so I'm a little bit crisper for you. My oldest daughter Haley, who's 24, who I've done a video on before. She has many disabilities. She ended up getting this weird wacko cold, and usually I don't take Haley anywhere. She kind of stays. I call her my little bubble girl because she stays in the house because I'm afraid to take her out because she has basically no immune defenses. The medication she's on and just the way that she is really takes a lot away from her, and one is her immunities. And so I try to keep her as safe as I can, and of course you always can't keep her safe because of course I have to go out, my kids have to go out, my husband has to go out, we bring stuff back. Obviously I brought something back. She got really sick on a Monday, and by Wednesday she was in the doctor's office getting fluids, and by Thursday she was hospitalized, and by Thursday night she was intubated, which I have to tell you scared the heck out of me. When I was probably in my late teens, my grandmother died on an intubator, life support, and they turned it off and she passed right in front of me and my father. We held her hand, and when they said that they had to put Haley on life support, I went berserk, and we were in ICU already, and I was just, someone pulled up a chair for me and gave me some water, and I don't even remember who did it, when it happened. It just happened. It scared the heck out of me. And what happened was her heartbeat was almost to 200 beats per minute. So she really should have been in cardiac arrest. She was just about there. And dumb me kept, telling them, yes, intubator, no. Yes, intubate, no. And my poor husband finally had to make the decision because I was just a crazy mess, like I said many times before. So she just had this, it's a viral thing. They tested her for everything. It all came back negative for bacterial. It's this horrible viral thing. And my whole family's had it except for my son. And I'm still trying to get over it. It is like the worst cold I've ever had in my life. And I've had pretty bad colds. I'm sure all of us have. But this stuff is sticky, and it sticks in the back of your throat. And she had no way of expelling it. And so she had a hard time breathing and coughing, and it just ended up happening. Now, she was only intubated for a little over 24 hours, and they took her off of it, and she was in the hospital for a week. And then we brought her home, and they were supposed to let her go home with oxygen. They did not. So she ended up back in emergency 3 days later, and then ended up being admitted. And they wanted to keep her, and I said, absolutely not. You just send us home with oxygen. You shouldn't have to keep her. I don't want her in the hospital. You know, it's crazy because you think you go to the hospital to get care, but it's like the worst place to be for germs. I mean, when I was growing up, those rooms used to be sterile. They're not sterile anymore. I mean, the baseboards look like they've been through heck, and just stuff all over the floor. Just in a regular daily doctor's office, an emergency is worse. So we ended up bringing her home on oxygen, and she's been home for a little over 2 weeks now, and she has not eaten. And finally, on Thanksgiving, she ate some turkey dinner, and we were just overjoyed because she could not eat. She would try to eat, and not to be graphic, but everything would be coming up. And I was so worried that I was going to have to take her back in the hospital, and they were going to want to do something invasive on her to get her to eat. And it was just so stressful. I think maybe I've had 5-10 years taken off my life. It was just the worst. You know, I always claim that the day we found out about Haley was almost the worst day, but I have to say that this ran pretty close. The hospital staff didn't really know what to do with her. I was there with her night and day. I went home once to take a shower, and they just wanted to do uncalled tests on her just because, you know, I guess they see her as fragile, which she is fragile. But it was just putting her through more and more and more and more. And I ended up having to weigh what they wanted to do with her because some of the things were just so weird. Like they wouldn't give me her seizure pills on time, but yet they wanted to take blood and measure her valproic acid, which is one of her seizure medications, her levels. And I was like, why would you want to measure that? First, she's not here for seizures, and second, you're not getting me her medication on time, so what do you think her levels are going to be like? I mean, off the board. They're going to be all over the place. It was just a nightmare, and she's only been hospitalized one time before. That was in 2013. That was a nightmare. And they had actually back 2 years ago had sedated her because they would not give me her seizure drugs, and would not let me give them to her in the hospital because I had my own for her. And they ended up over medicating her on Valium because she was seizing so bad, and she couldn't wake up. And she ended up waking up, but it was a mess. And it you know, it really opens your eyes to life, and it really brings you back to reality, how important life is and how important your loved ones are, because in the blink of an eye, they could get so sick and be taken away from you, just like that. And it brought me back down to earth. So, she is eating as of 2 days ago, and we are just very, very happy that she is at least eating and keeping things down. She's been happy through this whole thing, except when she was intubated, they sedated her so she wouldn't wake up. I think the thing that made her mad the most was that they had to restrain her, and she did not like, her right side is her good side. She did not like her right side, her right hand restrained because she was trying to pull the tube out. And I think that's pretty much the only thing. I mean, they put a PICC line in her because they kept taking blood. They couldn't find her veins anymore because they had taken so much blood that her veins just would collapse. And they put a PICC line in her, which is, if you don't know, I didn't know either. It goes into your arm and it goes right above your heart is what was explained to me. It doesn't touch your heart, but right above it. It's like your main vein. That was scary, but it was better because they didn't have to prick her anymore with needles. But she never cried. She had 2 IVs in her before the PICC line. Never cried. All the time she was poked and prodded, and it was just, she's so strong, and her strength makes us strong. She's just incredible. So I just wanted to tell you that that's where I've been. I have had absolutely no time to really think about anything. I haven't had my scraggly haircut in almost 2 months. And my color is not too good. It's starting to show through. If you saw my roots, they'd probably be gray or white. And so life will get back on track as long as my daughter's getting back on track. But in the hospital, I ended up getting this mess. And it was awful. It was awful. I was really, really sick. I had a fever. I went home. The second time she was admitted, I went home overnight. I left at I left at 4:30 in the morning and I was back at noon, but I had to come home and take a hot shower and sleep a little bit because I was so drawn out, and just my husband stayed there with her. There was always one of us there with her, always, because I don't trust anybody with my daughter or my kids. So anyways, I wanted to tell you that that's where I've been, and that's why I have not been making any videos. I did want to tell you that I'm going to show you the downstairs. On Thanksgiving, my husband and I started demolishing our floor downstairs. We're finally laying our wood floors. Hallelujah. I won't have them in my front room anymore. And my little one, Gracie, is still trying to get over her illness. And my daughter adopted another cat. So now we have 4 cats and 4 dogs in our house. So we have a zoo, but we love them all. And this little kitten was left by his mom. So I am going to show you the downstairs. I will show you what we're doing. And if you want to see that, just stay tuned. So here is the downstairs and the front room. Say hi, Matt.
Hi.
That is our cement slab, and this is our wood flooring. And we repainted actually the weekend before and painted it a gray. That is our door, which I absolutely love, the charcoal. It looks really good, honey. You guys are doing awesome. Awesome job, honey.
Thanks, babe. We'll be done in about 2 minutes.
And there's Nala, and she's showing everybody that she can eat her bone with her butt showing. So that is what we've been doing all weekend. Hi, girls. And then I did paint my kitchen. This didn't take any time, but I did paint it, trying to stay downstairs with Haley, and I had the monitor on so I could hear her. And so I stopped there. So I'm going to keep going today, and we have 80s music playing because that is my era. And there is my Haley. Haley, can you say hi? Say hi. Hi, everyone. Yeah, there she goes. Are you gonna dance? There you go. Do it, baby. Do it, do it, do it. As you can see, not much gets my Haley down. Yes, hello, Winston. You want to smell the camera? Say hi. Say hi, nose. Love that nose. Give me the nose. So anyways, that's what we have been doing. And let me turn it around here. That's what we have been doing and working on. And I hope you enjoyed my little video, and I'm not going to make any promises of when I'm going to be. You can see that we need to paint up here too. We never finished when we painted the first time because that area over there is very tall, and I am afraid of heights. So good luck getting me anywhere near there on a board. I get up, but I can't get down. So. I do have a bunch of things to go over with you. A lot of outfits that I was supposed to go over, and I ended up not because of everything. And yeah, oh, let's see if Katie's got her little... Katie, you got little Brody out? There's little Brody. There he is. He was in a fight with another cat, and since Katie works for a vet, the vet brought him in, and they were going to neuter him and let him go, and he's only 1.7 pounds. Of course, the way he's eating, he probably weighs more now in the past 3 days. So, that is our newest family member, and our last for a while. Oops, there we go. All right, so my battery is gonna die, and I look like I have helmet head. Boy, okay. So, I will talk to you very soon. I hope you all have a great day. Welcome to my new subscribers, and I'm sorry I've been lagging, but I'll try to get back on the bandwagon here and start making some videos and start showing you some things that I have for you. So I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving weekend, and I wish you all love, blessings from the Patterson family, and hug your loved ones. Hug them very tight, because tomorrow is never promised for anybody. So, bye-bye.